Welcome everybody from the Spark Systems YouTube channel. It's great to have you here today. Once again, we're continuing to look at our urban parking system repository. Recently, we've been looking at a number of videos in our series on requirements, modeling, and we've been looking in particular at the constraints, the scenarios, and the internal requirements. And we're going to continue that today by looking at files and how they can be associated with a requirement. My name's Scott Hebbard. I'm joined by Stephen McGuire. Welcome, Stephen. What can you tell us about the Files tab with respect to a requirement and how can you use it?
Thanks for the introduction, Scott, and always a pleasure to be here. Yes, we are going to look at files, and we can apply these to requirements or to any element for that matter. So let's have a look now at getting stuck into this with our setting our perspective. In the top right-hand corner of the application, we have a drop-down here that lists the perspective sets, and I can now click on an individual perspective, and I'll click on requirements. That's our focus today. The tool changes the focus and opens the builder page. Again, we've got a list of patterns here. People can inject these into their models directly by clicking the Create Model button there, and that gives you great productivity gains. I like to work from first principles, so let's close the builder page now, and let's continue on where we've been looking at a payment station. So let's look at our structural model here. I can click through on this navigation cell, class models there, and I can look at our payment station here. So this is, we're focusing on requirements, and we've got these constraints and scenarios listed for this element, and we want to look at files. Now we're going to apply this to the payment station itself, but we could apply it to a specific requirement as well. Let's have a look at doing it first in this payment station. So with the payment station selected, we can go to our inspector window. Again, if people don't have that open, you can go to the start ribbon, the all windows panel, the design item there, and you can click on inspect, and that will open up that window. So we were looking at our payment station. We've got requirements, constraints, and scenarios there. So we'll continue now and look at files. So if we look here under the files there for this particular element, let's delete this one here, and we'll put a new file in there. So with that file selected there, we can say new file. We can also go to the list in here. We can say file list, and you can see here that we've got requirements, constraints, scenarios, and files. So we can do the same thing there and say add new. It brings up the same window. So let's do that. And it's asking now for a path. Scott, this can be a file on the file system somewhere that you can link to, or it can be a URL. So if you've got content management systems, you might have something like SharePoint, and you can put a SharePoint URL in there, or whatever, whatever your favorite content management system is.
Or if you have the document on the network drive, you can include the...
Exactly, yeah. So I'm going to click browse there. You can see this pops open I'm in Windows, and this is opening Windows Explorer there. I get a list of the documents that I've got, or the types of files that I've got. It is a document. I'm going to click on that. We've got one here called the Urban Parking Station Usage Policies. So I'm going to click on OK, and we'll open that, and that it goes in there. And I can put some, some notes in there if I want to as well. So let me just get some notes into my buffer so that I can put those in, and files there, and we'll put those notes in about that. We might leave those notes out for the moment, actually, and we'll put those in a little bit later. So now I say OK to that, and you can see you have unsaved file information. You want to save these changes? Yes, I do. And you can see now that the file has gone there. Now, if I double click on that, that's going to modify the selected. Let's just launch the file actually, and that's popped up in another window. So another monitor. I'm just going to drag that across, Scott, and you can see now that I've got my urban parking station usage policies there. So payment methods, parking duration and pricing, and transaction policies, refund, cancellation, user responsibilities, system limitations, enforcement, all sorts of information there that's available in that document. You can see its applicability from April 2005, so it's been there for quite a long time until further notice, and this is the document reference there as well. So I'm going to close that there. You can see that was how that file was launched. You can put any number of files that you want into the system, and again, I could choose a particular requirement. So if I went to my requirements model here, and I've got information about that payment station requirements, multilingual messages, touchscreen responsiveness. There might be all sorts of case studies and comparisons between different solutions there. And again, I could put in.
There might be an engineering report about best practices and all sorts of stuff.
Yep. So all the same things, Scott, use the same method here. I can just say add new and link to those documents. So Enterprise Architect doesn't necessarily need to have the content inside. It can be linked to an external source, either as a file system or, as we said, a URL and a content management system. The other thing, Scott, though, is what I can do as well is on an element. Let's go to a requirements model there. If I was on an element, I can actually do another type of file, which we won't talk about in this video. We'll talk about it in a future video, but we can put in here a linked document. And what that does then is it allows me to put in a document that's actually inside the repository. So we haven't talked about that. We will talk about linked documents, but I wanted to make that that connection between an external reference to a document, or a document that's external we're referencing, and an internal document that's inside the repository. And remember, when we're on the topic of files, Scott, we can do what we have done with other disciplines here. We've got a library, and you can get to that from the start ribbon there, from the Collaborate panel and the model library. And we've got, OMG system modeling language. So this is the systems modeling language. We've got the unified modeling language, requirements modeling and management. And so again, that file is there with these characteristics of good requirements, and we've got all of those listed there. So we could put in other information about requirements as files under this library as well. But when we want to link it specifically to an element, then
you can do that. Yep.
You can do that as well. So lots of opportunities there to bring these requirements information into the model, Scott, and encourage the users to experiment with this and make some connections to external or internal documents.
Thanks, Stephen. I can see how it would be great if someone had already worked on a document to have a really comprehensive document that details all different aspects of an element, and to include it with a quick, easy link that can be launched directly from Enterprise Architect, so you don't lose things. So that's fantastic. As always, to our audience, thank you very much for joining us today. It's great to have you here. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to the Spark Systems YouTube channel. If you have any questions about some of the requirements features we've been talking about, whether it be internal requirements, constraints, scenarios, or adding files, you can reach out to Stephen using his LinkedIn and website credentials that are listed in the video description below. As always, thank you very much for your time and effort, Stephen. It's great to see all aspects of requirements coming to life. Greatly appreciate it.
Always a pleasure, Scott.